And finally, from Canada, Justin Trudeau, once the face of modern Canada and a global liberal icon, now finds himself at the center of one of the most dramatic political downfalls in Canadian history. From his meteoric rise in 2015, fueled by promises of change and optimism, to his devastating collapse in 2024, Justin Trudeau's trajectory has been nothing short of a cautionary tale. Scandals, policy missteps, and a growing disconnect with voters have unraveled his image as a progressive trailblazer. With mounting public disapproval, international rifts, and internal party dissent, Prime Minister Trudeau's future is now uncertain. How did such a powerful leader with so much promise lose his grip on power? Our final report dives deep into the tumultuous year that Justin Trudeau just faced.
Canada is often celebrated for its breathtaking landscapes and multicultural society, and has always taken pride in its progressive politics. However, in 2024, the nation's political stage became a spectacle of unraveling promises and shattered ideals. At the center of this drama stood Justin Trudeau, a leader once hailed as Canada's golden boy.
It's an incredible pleasure for me to be here today before you to present to Canada a cabinet that looks like Canada. We have an awful lot of work to do in the coming weeks, months, and years. But I know that Canadians expected us to come together and put forward a team that is going to be able to deliver on the change, on the ambitious plan for this country that the Liberal Party ran on, and that's exactly what we are going to deliver.
From his meteoric rise to his devastating fall, Trudeau's journey from hero to zero is a cautionary tale of misplaced faith and political hubris.
I don't want to compare him with other men. He's the most handsome man I've ever laid eyes on.
Trudeau began the year under fire for a luxurious Jamaican vacation. Reports revealed that he stayed at a $9,300 per night villa owned by a wealthy family friend. Opposition leaders slammed him, with Michael Barrett calling it a free vacation from a Trudeau Foundation donor. However, Trudeau defended the $162,000 trip and accused Conservatives of struggling with the concept of friendship.
My father was godfather to one of their kids. Their father was godfather to one of my brothers. This is 50 years of friendship. But, of course, we worked with the ethics commissioner to make sure all the rules were followed.
Fast forward to March, when Canada's diplomatic relations with India collapsed after already being in a free-fall. Trudeau's September 2023 allegations of accusing India of being involved in the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar were under global scrutiny.
There are credible reasons to believe that agents of the government of India were involved in the killing of a Canadian on Canadian soil. That is something of the utmost and foundational importance in a country of rule of law, in a world where international rules-based order matters. And we call upon the government of India to engage with us, to move forward on getting to the truth of this matter.
Allies questioned the evidence, with even New Zealand's Deputy Prime Minister calling the claims unfounded.
As a trained lawyer, I look okay. So where's the case? Where's the evidence? Where's the finding right here, right now? Well, there isn't one.
And India's firm rebuttal further exposed Trudeau's weakened international standing. What began as a bold accusation now seemed like a reckless gamble.
So, we have seen those comments of the Prime Minister Trudeau that he believes in one India policy. But so far, the actions that we have requested against anti-India elements who actually go against one India, who call for dismemberment and disunity of the country, who espouse separatist ideology, no action has been taken. So, in a sense, there is a difference. There is a gap between action and words here.
and then April brought more turbulence. Trudeau confessed to considering quitting his crazy job, but instead of stepping aside, he pressed forward. He announced tighter immigration controls, citing Canada's inability to handle an influx of temporary residents.
Whether it's temporary foreign workers or whether it's international students in particular that have grown at a rate far beyond what Canada has been able to absorb.
And critics saw the U-turn on migration as a desperate attempt to deflect from Trudeau's growing list of failures. When Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was re-elected in June, Trudeau congratulated him, but added a pointed call to discuss serious issues. Prime Minister Modi's measured response, emphasizing mutual respect, highlighted Trudeau's inability to navigate sensitive international relationships. His attempts at diplomacy appeared clumsy and insincere, further isolating Canada on the global stage. August saw Trudeau's popularity plummet even further. His decision to slash the number of temporary foreign workers ignited nationwide protests, with Indian students leading the charge.
Mark Miller said recently that international students think that it is their right to come study here in Canada. It's not a right, it's a privilege, is what he said.
Once a champion of immigrant communities, Trudeau now faced their ire. The demonstrations underscored his growing disconnect from the very groups that once formed his core support base. September delivered a blow to Trudeau's government. Jagmeet Singh's New Democratic Party withdrew its support, accusing the Liberals of betraying voters.
The supply and confidence agreement with Justin Trudeau. Today, I notified the Prime Minister that I've ripped up the supply and confidence agreement. Canadians are fighting a battle for the future of the middle class. Justin Trudeau has proven again and again he will always cave to corporate greed. The fact is, the Liberals are too weak, too selfish, and too beholden to corporate interests to fight for people. They cannot be the change. They cannot restore the hope. They cannot stop the Conservatives.
The move triggered a no-confidence vote, and Trudeau's leadership teetered on the brink. Whispers of dissent within his own party grew louder, with calls for his resignation gaining momentum.
The message that I've been getting loud and clear, and more strongly as time goes by, is that it is time for Trudeau to go. And I agree.
With mistakes and missteps mounting, Trudeau didn't back down and went on to make more claims against India, of course without any proof.
I believe India has made a monumental mistake in choosing to use their diplomats and organized crime to attack Canadians, to come and make Canadians feel unsafe here at home, and even more so to create acts of violence and even homicide. This is unacceptable.
And then came the month of realization. With a baggage of mistakes and in a bid to quell criticism, Trudeau acknowledged the presence of Khalistani sympathizers in Canada, but insisted they didn't represent the Sikh community as a whole.
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, since I just answered that question in French, allow me instead to take a moment to condemn unequivocally the violence we've seen in South Asian communities across the country over the past few nights. Let me be very, very clear. The individuals who are inciting violence and division and hatred in no way represent either the Sikh community or the Hindu community in Canada. At a time of Diwali, Bandi Chor Divas, we're seeing communities come together to celebrate their diversity and their strength. We will continue to stand for the unity of Canadians.
The remarks pleased no one. Critics accused him of pandering, while international observers saw it as another example of his inability to take a definitive stand. With realization came a dual crisis. As Trudeau admitted to mistakes, he faced a fresh challenge as Donald Trump threatened devastating tariffs on Canadian exports. Trudeau's frantic attempts to avert an economic fallout revealed a leader struggling to keep his head above water. As 2024 drew to a close, Trudeau's political unravelling was complete. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland resigned, citing irreconcilable differences. Her departure marked the first open rebellion within his cabinet. Public protests grew louder, with chants of "You've ruined our country" dominating the streets.
You've ruined our country! You're done! Walk away! You don't have an ounce of your father's integrity! At least he walked in the snow!
Playing on the same notes, even the opposition didn't hold back. In its closing question period before a month-long winter break, the House of Commons reverberated with discord as Trudeau's political opponents lambasted the Prime Minister for the recent upheaval and for posting a $62 billion deficit for the year.
People are right to be angry. They've got a Prime Minister who's more interested in protecting his own job than defending Canadians against Trump. We've got a Prime Minister who's failed to defend workers from rich CEOs like the Conservatives love, who continue to rip off Canadians and drive up the cost of food and homes. The Prime Minister has failed. For New Democrats, it's always workers first and not CEOs. And not CEOs who the Conservatives want to defend. So will the Prime Minister acknowledge he has failed? He has to quit.
Justin Trudeau's future hangs in the balance. Will he step down gracefully, or will his party force his hand? The Liberals face an uphill battle to rebuild their credibility, while the Conservatives stand ready to capitalise on the chaos. But one thing is clear, that Canada's political landscape is poised for a seismic shift. Justin Trudeau's journey from global darling to 2024's biggest loser is a sobering reminder of the perils of unchecked ambition and unfulfilled promises. Once the poster boy for progressive politics, Trudeau now stands as a cautionary tale of hubris and the fleeting nature of political glory. As Canada braces for what comes next, one question remains: how did the golden boy fall so far, so fast?